But let's go ahead and talk about Caitlin Clark's debut. I know you were hot on this. If you want to play point guard here, feel free. Caitlin, go for it. Go ahead. I know you were itching for this one.
No, I was itching for this one, and this is because this is not Caitlin Clark segment or opinion. This is just calling out what a lot of people predicted, what was going to happen, what is exactly been happening. Do we want to run that Taurasi sound now, or you want to save it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pat. Hey, Pat, run the Taurasi sound.
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time. Not saying that it's not going to translate, because when you're great at what you do, you're just going to get better. But there is going to be a transition period where you're going to have to give yourself some grace as a rookie. And, it might take a little bit longer for some people.
So that was Diana Taurasi talking to Scott Van Pelt after after one of the tournament games this year?
They had just beat UConn.
They had just beaten UConn. Yes, there you go.
Just beating UConn. So there's some backdrop to that. But the point I want to bring in, which gets me really going on this topic, is a lot of you people out there, honestly, you guys sound really foolish, and you have to understand why Caitlin Clark's going to have fans that don't like her. This is the way sports is, especially when you prop somebody up and you kind of force feed them down our throats, and you guys all know exactly what I'm talking about. And when you're telling me someone is going to save a league, and someone is going to be the Messiah, and someone is going to be the new prophet, like LeBron was the chosen one, and when you tell me all of that, there is no warm-up to me. There is no getting acclimated to me. Martin and I both had a pretty, long road to get to where we are. But when we got where we are, we didn't look at each other and go, okay, we got to get acclimated to have it. We got to get ready for it. No, we're ready now. We're ready now. Like, you're supposed to be ready now. And everybody's talking about the viewership and how many people were watching in college. And I was one of the people that stood out and said, you guys aren't going to keep this up. Let's not act like you care about a league that's averaging about 700K of viewership per game. You won't. Her debut was lower than the draft. So it's going backwards. And game 2 was lower. And game 3, that was on ESPN this morning, was lower. It's not that people don't like her. Sports fans now, Martin, I think, are getting tired of being just force-fed something that most people can look at and go, yeah, she's good or he's good, but legendary, iconic, the GOAT. When you start throwing those things around and it doesn't translate to what's happening on the field, the play, or the court, the track, whatever, you are going to have a contingency of fans who are going to point it out and who are going to fight back. I actually feel a little sorry for Caitlin Clark, honestly, because I don't think she asked for all of this, but this is what it is. This is where you're at now. Every shot's going to be scrutinized. Martin, I saw people breaking down film of where teammates missed her, which is fine, but I guarantee you those people ain't never broke down the damn WNBA video before. But now this is where we are.
Even if they had, right?
They didn't put it on Twitter.
Even if they did, right? Like,
Come on.
It's a bit, I'll put it like this. The most recent hyped NBA prospect was Victor Wembanyama. When he came into the league and started to struggle for initially, everybody's like, well, where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
Where is it? You told me that he's the best prospects in all of team sports. Adrian Wojnarowski. Ever. Better than Andrew Luck. Better than John Elway. Better than LeBron James. Right?
Goodness gracious.
I can't even.
Bo Jackson.
Better than Bo Jackson. Better than Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hold on. They're like, wait a second, okay? So I'm going to let Steve DeSager hit his update here. I'm going to respond coming up next. And I tell you this is a topic I am hot on.
Real fast, guys, just with the WNBA, the players coming in, you're talking about the cap, you're talking about, this extra money, and this is what really confuses me about this league. And I looked this up today. Out of 36 players drafted, do you know how many made rosters?
I absolutely do. 13.
Are you kidding me? What, like somebody has to really explain this to me. Why you drafted 36 girls, ladies, and 13 made rosters? What what's happening?
And how about this? Of the 12 first-round picks, 2 of them didn't report.
It's
so like, and it's not like they drafted them and kept them in Europe. So it's not like they were like, I'm not playing. It's like they're
still in the cup. But I don't want to make it sound like I'm being insensitive, Steve, about the salary cap and $100,000. I'm just to the point now where what's the main story about the league is the women aren't getting paid. They're not making money. So either you fix it or let somebody else fix it. I mean, maybe I'm ignorant to the rules, and okay, fine. But I'm trying to figure out.
Look, the bottom line is this is America.
Goodness
you can't
gracious.
afford it. You should sell it and give it to somebody who can.
Give it to somebody who can.
Give it to somebody who can.
I'm just
because you can't tell me that people wouldn't be buying these teams the same way you buying up basketball, NBA teams, football teams. Sell the team. If you can't afford the luxury tax, you should sell the team.
Yeah, man, and make sure and I'm not trying to be captain, but pay these. Come on, man, this is crazy.
Right. So this is what I want to say, because when Diana Taurasi said that. That was when Iowa was advancing from the Final Four to the championship game. All right? People called her, including on this, I had an argument right here.
Yeah, you and Monty was doing the show together.
I wasn't going to say it out loud, but yes.
I'll say her name.
Yes. But Diana Taurasi was called all types of things, from selfish to jealous to being a hater.
Yeah.
All of this. Maybe, just maybe, she knows a little bit more about women's professional basketball than all of us jackasses who sit up here and talk on the radio. Why? Because she's been in the mix for the last 20 doggone years, damn near. Okay? The idea that Caitlin Clark was going to come into the WNBA, the league in which, take the salaries and put them to the side, because I understand you can make more as a freaking trial lawyer in America than you can as a women's professional basketball player. That's a different conversation that we'll have at another time.
Pathetic.
It absolutely is. But this is the most competitive professional league in the United States. Period. Stop. I know that may sound crazy to some people, but you have to understand the reality of just the spots available.
Yep.
There are only 144 available spots every year in the WNBA. Now, as Steve and VJ were just talking about a minute ago, the salary cap constraints in the WNBA are such that you have some teams that only carry 11 players. Compare that to the NBA. The WNBA is 12 teams with 12 roster spots. The NBA is 30 teams with 15 roster spots. There is no such thing as a Thanasis Antetokounmpo in the WNBA.
It never will be.
There is no such thing as that.
Never will be.
There is no such thing as I can't think of some of the other guys at the very end of the bench. There is no such thing as a Udonis Haslem in the WNBA in the second half or the later third of his career, where he's sitting there with gray hair on the bench for moral support,
knowing he's not gonna play.
Exactly.
Knowing he's not gonna play.
There's no such thing as that. Every woman in this league can ball their ass off. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the league. It's like if you live in a like I grew up in New Orleans, for example, okay? One of the best food cities in America. If you opened up a bad restaurant, you weren't going to be doing business for longer than a year.
No.
Because there's too many other good options.
6 months.
There's too many other good options.
6 months.
For you to come out and have average food. Right? The same way in the WNBA, if you have average game, it ain't happening for you.
Oh, man, no.
Caitlin Clark was always an incomplete player. The idea that she was going to walk into the league day one and dominate, a la Candace Parker, the last rookie of the year and MVP in the same year, was always foolish. It never made sense. And when Diana Taurasi tried to say it, y'all had everything, y'all calling her everything under the sun besides right. Y'all calling her every single name under the sun besides she's right.
Candace Parker,
absolutely was.
Candace Parker, by the way, another former #1 overall pick. Her debut, 34 points at 22 years old. All she's done is won 2 MVPs and 3 WNBA championships. I mean, I got a list of names here if you kind of want to hit. Breanna Stewart. She was another former #1 overall pick. You know what she's done too? She's also won multiple MVPs and she's won multiple WNBA championships. And her debut, Nate, she dropped 23 as a 21-year-old.
That may be the reality for Caitlin Clark down the line. She's only 3 games into her professional career.
Absolutely.
And in those 3 games, she is, per the WNBA Instagram account, she has tallied 50-plus points and 15 assists 15-plus assists in her first 3 games. That joins Candace Parker, Sue Bird, and Nikki McCray as the only. So there's only 4 players who have done that in their first 3 WNBA games. Right now, is she turning the ball over too much? Absolutely. Right? Is she missing shots you would thought she would have made? Absolutely. The problem is not with Caitlin Clark, who is a rookie trying to find her way. Another first-round pick, Steve just read it out, Cameron Brink. She was, 1 for 7 from the floor? It's an adjustment period into every next level of work. When you graduate from college and get a job, it's an adjustment period. You get a new job and you get a promotion, it's an adjustment period. It's going to be some growing pains, okay? The idea that Diana Taurasi could say that and everybody have a negative opinion of Taurasi
exactly.
That's what I said in the past. That's what I said at the moment. Y'all are wrong for coming at Diana such as this, calling her a hater, so on and so forth. And to me, it was honestly sexist. It was honestly sexist because you can't just say, hey, she's a competitor. Okay, she's coming into the league that Diana Taurasi has been in for over 15 years. But she just knows a little thing about it. That's part of the reason why we look at guys like Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson, and we have the argument, are they superstars yet? And you could credibly say no. Yeah. You can make an argument for yes, but you can say no. Why? Because it takes a time to establish yourself in the league that you're in.
Diana Taurasi also, by the way, 3-time WNBA champ too, guys, and an MVP. So it was just amazing to me how someone so accomplished on the college level and the pro level couldn't give their opinion about how a lot of people see the situation for what it is. If you go back and you watch, tell me the other dominant female players, ladies players, or dominant teams were in the Big Ten on the women's side in the last 2 years. That was mainly her competition. And when you get to the league, yeah, there are going to be some veterans that want to shove you around. She took a shove on the baseline, and yeah, that girl did it. Somebody tweeted, oh, that wasn't on purpose, VJ. Hell yeah, it was on purpose. She's a rookie coming in for somebody else's spot.
And there's a couple guys. There's a couple guys out there. Jeff Teague is one of us on his podcast. Club 520. That's a part of Shannon Sharp's media company. He said basically that the WNBA is messing this up. Stop it.
Stop.
Okay?
Stop
it.
Yeah.
She will either sink or she will swim. But the deep end of the pool is the deep end of the pool.
Period.
And that's where she's at. It is 3 games in. We will see what happens. Victor Wembanyama, his first 20 games. What happened? Snooze fest. Last 60? Okay, this guy might be the defensive freaking player of the year.
Unanimous rookie of the year.
But you know, but first 20 or so games, what do you have to do? Figure it out. Okay? LeBron's first year didn't make the playoffs, right?
First 2 years.
There is an adjustment period for everyone. Everyone.
Yeah.
Let her get hers.